One of the key observations is that it really serves both as a link and destination function. There's definitely an audience that passes through the space as part of their regular routine. Lots of dog walkers and kids that get off at the bus stop and then disperse out into the neighbourhood that visit the play space more as an incidental activity on their way through. Interestingly, most of the children observed in the space are accompanied by more than one adult, and so that's why we have this greater percentage of 25 to 64-year-olds. Often we're seeing two parents or a parent and a grandparent accompanying the child to the play space, and that's boosting that demographic figure in the area. The repeated request for toilets has a really strong impact on how people use and visit the space. The lack of having a public toilet in close proximity means that families are identifying that with small children, they can't choose to come and spend long periods of time. Also, older carers were suggesting that they felt uncomfortable not having the choice and would instead choose to go to other play spaces or have a different activity altogether without the comfort of knowing that that was close by. Shade was another key piece of infrastructure that people were regularly requesting. There is a shaded section that accompanies chairs and tables, but interestingly, without the toilet amenity, families were suggesting that they wouldn't come and have time to do picnics because they didn't have that additional amenity. And shade was really requested for certain pieces of infrastructure. So the swings in particular, the hammock swing, and also the slides were suggested that at certain times of the day, they were too hot for use. And it just meant that people had to change their routines about when they could come and visit the space. And it just reduced overall visitation altogether. Looking at the pieces of infrastructure that regularly attracted use, the basketball court was a really key piece of the puzzle. It had a different demographic again, so the teens and slightly older kids, as well as parents, were congregating and playing basketball in that area. There was a network of teenage boys that lived close by, and they would come down to the play space around 5 o'clock in the afternoon after school and have a kind of regular catch up where they'd play around the world. So that became a key part of their neighborhood experience. The other key pieces of play are the hammock swing. There was always a line up there, a really social piece of equipment, and also the sunken trampoline. Interestingly, the trampoline became an intergenerational piece of equipment. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner. It's also closest to the street network, and we found that a lot of people would pass through the space on the road or on the footpath, and they'd drop in as the closest part of the playground that they could interact with. They'd have a quick bounce and keep going. So it was really part of an incidental play network in the broader movement path system of the neighbourhood. There was a key use of the playground at the end of the school day. So there's a bus stop directly adjacent. We'd see a lot of kids get off and come and use the playground on their way home. And we'd also see a really strong supportive responses from families with children of different ages, where the Learn to Ride bike network really provided opportunity for them to entertain different aged kids, and it contained their children centrally. So they felt that they had the opportunity to keep their eyes on the younger kids in the central play space while their older children were playing basketball and riding bikes.